Get ready to have a blast on Corey's Cast, where we talk about everything related to rehabilitation and recovery, from injuries and treatments to the unique journeys in the pursuit of an optimal life. I am your host, Corey Rasmussen. Welcome to another episode of Corey's Cast. We have a very special guest here today. We have Wendy Jaglowski. She is a local entrepreneur owning several laundromats in Pocatello, Twin Falls, and Layton, Utah. In addition to her entrepreneurial aspirations, she is also a wife with 6 children. And then on top of that, which we're going to talk about today, she is also a well-known runner and participates in ultras, which are 100-mile races, and she enjoys doing those and competing those in various peaks around the country and the world even. So we're going to talk about that. We're very lucky to have you. Thanks for coming on the show, Wendy.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. So also throughout the show, because she is such an expert, we're going to have her give the audience 3 pearls of wisdom on either if they're just thinking about getting into this type of running or if they're even a veteran on how they might be able to also step their game up. So we'll chat about that a little bit later. So we've highlighted just a little bit, just scratched the surface of everything basically that is you and talking a little bit about running. But that's kind of a big thing, running these 100-mile races, endurance races. How did you start developing this passion, and when did it start?
Good question. I didn't grow up a runner, hated running the mile in school.
Yeah.
All junior high and high school, not a runner. I think I maybe tried to jog more as a weight loss tool for, throughout my childbearing years. I would say after my 5th child, it started to be more cool to run a marathon or run a half marathon. And so I was like, well, I need to get this baby weight off. I'll start running. And so I did some half marathons, and I did a marathon in top of Utah. It was 2009, and got injured, had plantar fasciitis really bad, and some IT problems.
Yeah.
And so then I started biking.
Okay.
And so one of my really good friends was like, you should come mountain biking with me. So she taught me the trails around Pocatello. And I just fell in love with the trails. And so I mountain biked for a lot of years, and then I got injury free and started running again and got injured again.
No.
And so I back to the mountain biking on the trails, and I was like, well, this time when I got healed up, I was like, maybe I'll just stay on the trails. And I just started hiking.
Because these other times was on pavement.
Yeah. Running on pavement.
Typical
and
marathon
me
format.
Just always injured. So I just was like, now I know the trails pretty well from biking for a bunch of years. I just started hiking them, and then I just was like, well, gosh, I only have an hour, and I really want to do this loop. So maybe I'll just run it and do it a little faster. And so then I just started trail running, and then I found out there's a whole sport of trail runners, people that do this all the time. So then I was like, oh, get in all the gear, some good hydration vest, and started running with some friends. And I was like, okay, let's shoot for a race. And Scout Mountain is the big race around here every June, and they have a 20-mile race. They had at that time a 35-mile race, and then they had 100K, which was it was 65 at the time. And I was like, well, I don't want to do this 20-mile because I've done a marathon before. And so
Step backwards.
Except had I known that race, that 20-mile is way harder than a road marathon. But
for sure.
But so I was like, I'm going to do this 35-mile race.
Okay.
And I just, showed up and finished. And then it just became this passion.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's a race in Chalice, and there's a race in Logan, and so I just kept signing up for races.
Yeah,
it's just
And
can
this
I
is
do
about
better?
when?
Can I do better? So my first ultra was 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you've been doing it just about ever since.
Yeah.
So I guess that was kind of my next leadway question. So now we're fast forwarding a little bit further, 15 years, a little bit later, 10 years, a little bit later. You have all these extra responsibilities. You're an entrepreneur. You got 6 children. So people right now are wondering, how does she have time to do all this? So how do you have time to do all this?
Well, my alarm this morning was 4:30.
Okay.
And so we went and bagged Indian Peak this morning, and it was a couple hours. And so home before the kids even woke up. And that's kind of, I found a group of mom runners that loved being on the trails too, and they love big miles too. I really lucked into a solid group of friends, and we kind of just go out and get it hard.
Mm-hmm.
We meet early and get as many miles as we can, and get home and just pretend like nothing happened.
Just like any other workout, get up, get it early, and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Plus, it's more. It's better to run in the morning because it's cooler. It's not so hot, and nature's just more active. So when you're in the mountains on the trails, it's just you can't beat it. It's first thing in the morning.
Beautiful. Sunrise is my favorite, and Pocatello has the best trails.
Yeah. The
best trails anywhere that I've
really
been.
blessed for the quality, the variability, as well as how close they are. Like you're not driving for, like you said, you can get up there and get in a good long run and back to the swing of things like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, I did a race a couple weeks ago in the Tusher Mountains outside of Beaver, Utah.
Okay. Crazy.
They're giant mountains. You don't even know they're there. And the whole time the trails were like just not really well maintained. And I was like, our Pocatello trails are good. Anyway, really, really, I appreciate our trails a lot.
Yeah, it takes you to go into some of these events to really appreciate actually Pocatello.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why a lot of people, they want to move away and then they move back because they really do appreciate it. When I go on conferences for physical therapy, I'll go and I'll see different clinics. And I was like, man, we're so lucky to have the ability to have a bigger clinic because of the cost of housing and stuff like that. It's changed a little bit lately. But,
I moved from Boise to here, and I just vowed we would move back the second that we could. But when I learned the trails, I was sold.
This is my place.
Yeah, this is it.
All right, so give our listeners right now your first tip for either getting into or maybe something you found very beneficial that you've learned over the last couple of years in competing in ultras or endurance running.
Oh, man. One tip that it would be, in general, beneficial in competing in ultras.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just fresh because I did that race in southern Utah, but like know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people underestimate the trails or they don't do their recon or they just get a GPX file and they just go blind follow it.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally did that. It was it's about a 45-mile race, and it was all at elevation, which
like
elevation
10,000 and above.
10,000 and above.
Yeah.
It dipped down below 10,000 like twice, and that was it. And the elevation isn't really what bothered me. I had some energy problems from nutrition. I'm still always tweaking nutrition, but at the very end, at mile 35, when I was just like on it and ready to just like, I was passing people and I was feeling really good.
Yeah.
And then I hit this scree field for like, it was up and back of this mountain, and it was like 6 miles of scree and talus. And so those were like 40-minute miles at that point, and it just crushed me mentally.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was blindsided by the intensity.
Right.
I was blindsided by how slow, because I told my husband, I'm going to be done in 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Took me 15.
Okay.
And we were planning to drive home.
Yeah.
And so, like, my being late or 3 hours, like, anyway, threw off all of our travel plans and whatnot. So we ended up getting a hotel on the way back, and because I was just hammered. But I didn't do my my homework, and so I think just being aware of when you're grabbing a GPX tracks from somebody, you know what kind of training you're getting into, and being smart.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, since you've mentioned it a little bit. What goes into the prep as far as that goes? Is it common for someone to go then run the course prior to the event, or are you just really, like you said, looking at maps and...
Yeah, sometimes people will go and do some recon, like the Bear 100 in Logan. I've done that 4 times, and I'll usually go and run portions of it before the race, just to get a better idea of, okay, this really is the last mile before this aid station.
Yeah.
So I'm just mentally prepared, but and I'm no expert. Also, you called me an expert at the beginning, but I am experienced.
There you go.
Been doing this for a long time, but I feel like I'm still learning so much all the time, because things change a lot. But just getting out there and knowing the terrain, whether it's reading race reports or watching videos or getting on Google Earth.
Yeah.
Honestly,
helps.
Yeah.
So how far in advance do you start to prepare for an event?
Well, I have a training plan that I use that is about 16 weeks.
Okay.
But I like to roll into that at least 30 to 40 miles a week base.
Okay.
So I've been building over the winter, let's say, I don't get as many miles during the winter, but when I start training, say February 1st for a June 1st race for Scout Mountain, I want to be at least 35 miles a week
each week.
Yeah, and then I start to build from there. Just like a regular marathon training.
Yeah.
You have your long run day and you just build in blocks, and
nice. So with that time window, do you try to do 1 event, 2 events a year? Do you have a goal for yourself? Is it just certain races you like, and so those are the ones you go to?
Yeah, I always do Scout because it's local, home court advantage. There really is. I'm not the fastest, but with me knowing the trails really well around here, I know when to fuel, I know when to hold back, I know when to push, and so I can actually do really well there comparatively. So I have podium 1 time.
Nice, congratulations.
So that's awesome. That was a great accomplishment.
And is that with the 100?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
I got 3rd 1 year, and but that spring race I almost always do, and then I try and look for a fall race. And if I'm not doing a fall race, I'll do a fall adventure, something like rim to rim to rim, or the Zion Traverse, which is a 40-mile through Zion National Park, or an international trip.
Yeah.
The Bear 100 is one I've done. I'm actually signed up for it this year, but I'm 100th on the wait list, so geez. I doubt I'll get in.
What's the Bear 100?
The Bear 100 is Logan. You start in Logan, you go up and over the mountains and end up at Bear Lake.
Okay.
And it's a great 100-miler. It's beautiful.
And you've done it?
Yeah.
You're just on the wait list for this year?
Yeah.
So there's no guarantees if you ran the race before you get in?
No, there's no guarantees. I don't know that I will. I don't know that they'll burn through the wait list. I don't know if I'll get in, but...
And that they do that one in the fall, you said?
Yeah, end of September.
Do you have a running coach?
I have had running coaches. I do not currently have one. I've had probably 3 different running coaches, and I've learned a ton. And but then my last one I really quite liked, but then I got injured and had an Achilles issue, and I said we got to press pause. And then when I came back and felt better, I was like, what, I'm going to just try it on my own. I think I've gathered enough kind of from each different coaching style that, I probably could get better if I got a coach again.
Sure.
But I'm like, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how frequently are you dealing with injuries with a sport like this? Is it just part you just chalk it up, hey, this is the nature of the beast, or I messed up with my training and that's why I ended up with that, or how do you approach injuries?
Sometimes it's nature of the beast. I think if you just are always putting in 40, 50 mile weeks, well, on average, probably 40-mile weeks.
Right.
And I really don't take a ton of time off in the winter. We're like cross-country skiing or snowshoeing, or, I'm still getting out every day. I feel like sometimes injuries just happen. My Achilles was at the end of the bear, and it was we called it the mud bear. It was hours and hours and hours of mud, and it was horrid. And I just, I think I tore my Achilles just a little, but it was enough that I didn't really pay attention to it, and I just kept trying to run through it, and so, made it worse.
Did you finish?
That type of thing. Yeah, I did finish. I didn't know it was torn until afterwards. When I got back to running, I was like, there is something here still that didn't go away for a long time, actually. But I have some type of autoimmune. I keep going to doctors. No one can quite tell me what it is, but it's like, it's pain in my feet and my joints. And I just thought I just run a lot. That's why my feet are
natural,
painful. And I was asking my friends, I'm like, you're not really hobbling around like I am on some of these things. And they're like, no, my feet they're sore today, but I just kind of put it together that this was maybe unusual. Anyway, and so that was a lot of years of, it was on injuries that wouldn't mend, doing all the physical therapy, doing all the things right, and it's just lingering. So there was a couple of years that I did end up taking off because I just,
some significant
pain.
Time.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your training. Besides just running and incrementally increasing that and stuff like that, what other modes of exercise or things do you try to work on in order to try to stay injured or also stay fit and competitive?
My weights class here has been actually a game changer for me. Like, I think it's kind of a joke among runners, like, I'll get my weights in, I'll do some stretching, I'll do some mobility, and it's like, never happens for years and years and years and years. Like, I'll do more yoga, I swear. I'll do more this, more that. And it's just, you just want to run. You don't want to.
If that's your passion, that's what you want to do.
I don't want to take time and, stretch on a foam roller or whatever. But I signed up for this class, and I was like, this is not a convenient time for me at all. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it out. And honestly, like, 3 years later, it has been the most consistent class that I've been to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really don't know how that ended up. Like, why didn't I quit before now? I've quit a lot of weights classes.
Yeah.
I have signed in and out of Golds a billion times, or other gyms, just gyms in general.
Sure.
Just, it's like off season, but I love the class. I love that it's tailored to just a general fitness. It is weights. We're throwing around heavy stuff. So I feel really super challenged, but it is strengthening me. I especially noticed this last year. It was probably like a year and a half ago, one of the first races I had gotten back to after being in that weights class consistently. And I was like, this is weights. This strength is because I am consistently in the gym, quads, hams, paying attention to all the parts, and so it's been helpful. I love the people in the class, honestly. Like, it makes it, I think that's probably why I've made it just consistently all the time, because they'll be like, get your butt to class. No excuses.
That's what's great about the class format, is you have people holding you accountable for sure.
Yeah.
And you've been religious for the last 3 years, going with Daryl over at APSI Gym and doing the classes that he has over there. And then additional ones. Like, I've seen you train boxing over there.
Yeah. Well, I was injured, and I was like, I can't run. Like, I need to do something for my mental clarity. And I was like, Yeah, and Daryl used to be a boxer, and I was like, just teach me how to box.
I know.
And so it was a really fun.
It was so cool to watch.
do. Yeah, it was a blast to learn how to box.
Yeah.
But then I got better and been running all the time, so I'm like,
there goes my boxing.
I know. I kept the gloves just in case. If I have time again, I'll do it.
No, it's funny. I actually I whipped out I saw you training with Daryl, and I whipped out my phone because I have a daughter who's like 18, and I know she would totally love that kind of stuff. I was like, did just a quick little film I sent her. I said, you should talk to Daryl about doing some boxing lessons, and she's like, oh, I totally want to do that. So it was kind of funny, but those classes have been really good, and you kind of got a few runners in the class, and that's, it pays those dividends to have that strength when you're dealing with all these peaks, both the elevation as well as the descension on those runs, huge eccentric loading and things like that on the muscles, and having the joint mobility. And that's what's so awesome about Daryl's classes is, like you said, they're very they can be general and they can be specific, but they are definitely promoting all aspects of health: joint mobility, proper form, things like that, eliminating that extra wear and tear from just poor biomechanics with movement.
And just consistency, by far, that just has made a difference.
So you mentioned it a little bit before. You talked a little bit about nutrition, and that's the other big boulder when you're trail running and endurance running. So do you have a set, most people don't like to say diet because it's a lifestyle change, right? So do you have a lifestyle eating plan that you follow, and then how does that change as you get closer to an event, or does it?
Well, that is a great question, and it's a whole can of worms a little bit right now, but and that was one thing that Daryl was actually key in, is I was like, I've got this foot pain, like I don't, and he's like, well, what are you eating? Maybe it's, oxalates, maybe it's something that's, causing inflammation. And so I just started really playing with my nutrition, and I just went like, I just had so much joint pain that finally I was like, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm just gonna do this carnivore, like 0 carb diet, which is very, unpopular opinion.
Sure. For sure.
I really unpopular opinion. Like, I haven't eaten a vegetable since last September.
Oh, wow.
And it's very personal, but honestly, I have not had such pain-free feet in years. Yeah. And it was like, I had done everything, even just like super kind of keto, I guess, just meat and veggies all the time. I still couldn't quite get it. And I cut out the veggies, and really just in an attempt to, I'm going to just start with meat. I'm going to start adding stuff back in and see what's bugging me. And so, but honestly, just the meat makes me feel amazing. And so I'm like, I don't know that I want to add stuff back in. I mean, I'm not perfect. I've had a piece of pizza here and there, but for the most part, like for the most part, I only eat meat right now. And is it going to be like that forever? I don't know, but it does cause issues with long races, because during the race, I have to have something quicker. And so during the race, then when I'm putting in, gels or chomps or electrolytes with nutrition, it takes my body a while to switch from fat burn to sugar burn again. And so I can tell that my body's kind of like in this energy limbo, which is one of the reasons I also struggled at the last race as well. But I'm like I said, still kind of tweaking things, and I feel like it comes and goes. So I have it all dialed in. I felt fantastic, like Scout Mountain 100. This last June had the same type of diet, and I had an energy blow up, I guess is what I call it, at like mile 15. Came back to life, turned it around, and ran solid. This happened like at mile 5, and I was like, oh, I can't blow up this early in a race, and I turned it around and finished strong. But I don't know, it's like this way of eating is something that makes me pain free, but it doesn't lend well to the sport
To
that
the
I
sport,
love.
right.
And so I'm trying to find. I know there's a solution, but
Yeah.
I love the experimenting. I love the variables, and so I just try here,
'Cause
try there, in, out.
Yeah. And you're like meticulous. You're tracking glucose and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, generally, I mean, because I'm zero carb, like during a race, during hard exercise, it's like 30 grams an hour, about
During a race.
100 calories every 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but sometimes it's more than that. If I just feel like I'm digging and there's nothing there, then I'll go more. But then I know it's going to bug my gut
I was going
and
to say
cause
you
me
get
some
insulin
inflammation.
spike and
Yeah, so it's like this kind of tricky thing right now. But I'll
That's
figure
really
it out.
cool. No, it's fascinating. My wife watches a lot of stuff, and I don't know if you know Jordan Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's a big proponent of the carnivore, right? And I believe it's his daughter, both autoimmune diseases, been living the carnivore lifestyle forever, and they're great by it. And then you get other people that will
Total vegan.
and then they do good with it,
Yeah.
or Mediterranean, or whatever it might be. I know somebody who was recently diagnosed with RA, and so now their doctor had RA, and he's out of San Diego, and he went to this more of a not a vegetarian diet. I think it was just more Mediterranean, and now he's pain free, and so that's kind of what they're working on. They don't want to do the meds approach, and so they're doing the diet first. And it's just funny how different bodies and these autoimmune diseases react a little differently.
Honestly, it's cutting out the processed stuff.
That's really what it comes
cutting
down
out the
to.
junk.
Because even with your carnivore, it's not like you're snacking on salami and stuff all the time.
No.
Right? You're not having that processed.
I'll have some macadamia nuts. I guess those are plant based.
Yeah.
I have some plants. But no veggies, no fruit, and just a lot of steak.
Yeah, a lot of steak. But even what's your opinion on jerky? Because that's considered processed, right? So do you eat any jerky, or a little bit sparingly?
I actually don't, only because it doesn't. If I'm gonna choose at lunchtime, I'm gonna choose a steak instead of jerky.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm out and I need energy, jerky's not giving me energy anyway. It's not. I can't assimilate it fast enough.
Sure.
I've tried taking bacon out with me to see if I could get that a little quicker, but it's nuts are as close as I can get to zero carb.
Right. So you're not doing any kind of really meat snacking, because most of that's processed. It's just just my meals, fresh, non-processed meat, that kind of.
Yeah, like this morning it was sausage and eggs. I'll have a steak for lunch, and that's probably it, because my blood sugar stays so even. Sometimes I'll have maybe some chicken for dinner or something, or another steak.
So how as a mom and a wife, how do you assimilate that in the family environment?
Well, my husband loves it, because he's dropped 40 pounds.
Sweet.
Doing it, and so he's on board, and he loves to grill, and he loves to smoke meats, and he's got the big Blackstone out there, and he's smashing burgers, and it's great. And my kids, honestly, I'll make other sides for them.
Yeah.
But they don't eat the bun on the burger anyway, and they don't eat the vegetables anyway, and I'm like, vegetables don't work for me, so I'm not going to force them on you.
Right?
Honestly,
it's tough, right?
I'm probably the only mom for a long ways that's I don't care if you eat your vegetables or not. I'll throw them away, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, I found that they do better. Their skin and their temperaments do way better when they stay low carb.
That's
too.
super
But
cool.
they eat candy and
How old
drink
are your
Mountain
kids?
Dew. So I have 2 left at home, actually.
Okay.
And one's 11 and one is 17.
Okay.
And then the other 4 are out and spread their wings and fly.
Yeah, that's right. Anybody run?
They do. Yeah. My daughter just did a marathon.
Oh, geez.
In July, and so
Okay.
and my son's paced me at Scout, so that was nice. That was
nice.
fun.
That is fun. And how old was the son that paced you?
So my one son that paced me is 21. He did 22. He did like 17 miles with me, and then my 17-year-old paced me in the last 6. It was pretty special, actually.
Yeah, that's a boost in energy and stuff like that, right?
That's good.
Half of, if not more, is mental versus physical, right?
Yeah.
At that point. So pearl number 2, give us another tip for either conditioning tip or actually doing the event, or something for runners to grasp and try to apply to their.
My biggest success this last year has been changing my diet. So if you're injured, if something's not working, just switch things around. Like eat something different, pull something in that you don't normally, push something out that you wouldn't. And I think a lot of times we're looking to maybe it's my shoes, maybe it's my I'm not foam rolling or something enough, but recovery is important. But
we'll talk about that.
But honestly, I think changing what I ate has made the most dramatic difference in my running, and I feel fantastic when I'm running. Like if I'm out there for a couple hours, like I feel amazing. It's when I really get into that endurance part when I start to struggle with energy.
I think we generally underestimate the power of food as far as inflammation goes, and how crappy it can make you feel, and how sore it can make you feel. And it's like, why do I feel this way? And it doesn't take much of eating the wrong thing to kind of stimulate some inflammation. So we chatted a little bit about the mindset. So, but I'm interested in, like, how do you mentally prepare, like the day before and the day of? Like, what are you thinking on anything in specific? Are you amped up? Are you trying to stay calm? Kind of, what's your mindset going into an event?
Well, I check the weather probably 8 times a day because, like, being prepared for the heat or not heat, like, what am I going to pack? What am I going to wear? That is what I can control. It's like, control what you can control.
Right.
And anything else that's out of your control, you have to let it go. But, so, I'm like, days before the event, I'm packing. I'm trying to decide what to wear. I'm trying to decide, what food to put in what drop bags, because you have drop bags along the way of food that you've packed. And then when you get to each aid station throughout the race, then you replenish your food, that, take out all the wrappers or bottles that you've already consumed and put in more. And so, it is a lot of mental preparation, so it does help to do a lot of visualization for me, to just like sit and imagine the race and how I'm going to feel on each part, and knowing what's coming, being just full prepared, so I'm not blindsided, so I'm not surprised by anything in the race, and honestly knowing over a course of 100 miles, I'm out there for, 29, 30, 32, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
It's like a lot can go wrong.
Yeah.
Chafing or stomach issues, or just, heat or electrolytes going wrong. There's a lot that can just jump out at you. And we always joke, I think I lived 3 lifetimes in that race. I died and was brought back, and I died and I was brought back. And so, like, you will always hit low points, always, and you will want to quit. And in ultras, the DNF rate, the do not finish rate, some of them are like, 30, 40% don't finish. And in heat years, it's that much. And I have DNF'd 200s, but I didn't go into it well prepared either. And so knowing you're going to hit a low spot, you're going to feel like hell, you're going to want to die, you're going to want to quit, and don't, because you can change the way you feel by food, by seeing your crew at an aid station, or just the sun goes down and it cools off, it can really just change, and then you can perk up and go again. And
Okay.
so you will hit low points.
Yeah.
But you'll get through them.
Sure. If you're mentally strong.
If you're prepared. Yeah.
So I think it helps people
it's
know that
coming.
everybody has those slumps, and that it's the people that finish or the people that are able to push through that.
Yeah.
So then, as far as I don't know a ton about it in some of that endurance racing, but are there times where you are regressing enough into a walking pace, but you just keep going, or are you always at a jog?
No, running is a loose term when it comes to 100 miles.
I always wondered.
If you're running the whole thing, you're gonna blow up, especially because there's 20,000 feet of vertical that you're climbing over the time. So it's a solid power hike. Like anything up, like if we call it sneaky vert, you can kind of run that. But if it's anything more than that, if you can't see the top of the hill, you hike. And you just and really that minimum velocity is a game changer. Like I'm not the fastest. I can't run a 6-minute mile.
Sure.
But my minimum velocity, my power hike, is pretty solid. So over 100 miles, if my minimum velocity is faster than her minimum velocity, even though she can out sprint me in a second, I will win.
Yeah.
And so that the minimum velocity is what you really just like. In 100 mile, I'm like never hard, never easy, pedals on, but it's never pegged, never pegged. You'll blow up, and that hurts. So but you keep the pressure on, and it is relentless, but it takes focus to be relentless for 30 hours.
Oh yeah. So you mentioned like a 200. You've done a 200?
No, sorry. In 200-mile races.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the most I have done at one time is Scout, which ended up being like 108 on my watch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have not. I have looked into signing up at the Moab 240, but I've got it. I need to feel pretty confident about my fitness at the time. And my nutrition strategies. But I hope to do a 200.
That's a bucket list.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about recovery. So walk us through, like, as soon as the event's over, how do you do it? And then talk about a couple of the days after, and how do you recover? Yeah,
recovery is... recovering from sleep actually is probably the hardest thing, because you miss a whole night of sleep.
Right.
Like you literally don't ever go to bed, and then the sun comes back up, and then you're still running, and you finish noonish or whatever. And then by the time, yay, everybody, thanks for coming. It's like time you get home and get showered, you just like missed a whole night of sleep. And sleep is so critical for me and for everybody. And that's hard. It takes probably, for me, it takes me like 5 or 6 days to like
just add in a few hours here and there.
I just want to nap at all times. So I do really take it easy. There is no running for at least 4 or 5 days after 100. Easy walks, but nutrition, again, this one was a game changer for me. It was like I did really well eating and fueling before the race because I wanted to do really well. And then it was like, well, now I'm going to have a donut, and I'm going to have cookies, and I'm going to have fried chicken, and I'm going to have all of this stuff
awesome
that I couldn't have for the last, 6 months. And that is the worst for recovery. Because after this last 100 that I did, where I had gone solid carnivore before, like literally Daryl had cooked me a hamburger. I ate that right at the finish line when we were done and sitting down. I had 2 burger patties, and then the next day I got up and only ate meat because I was like, I don't want to be in pain. So and my recovery was like a million times better. So much better than it ever has been. And so I was like, okay, why did I think it would be any different? Of course it's food helps recovery too,
Yeah.
not just performance. And so, yeah, I do try and actually eat foods that will heal.
Right.
Because I have done some trauma to my body, so
Yeah.
I do try.
Yeah,
to
you're
do
gonna
that.
have some micro tissue, micro breakdown, and stuff like that. So you start to feed it with inflammatory foods, it's gonna be a nightmare. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it hurts. But I do massage. I have a massage therapist that I actually trade laundry services with. So
Okay,
I get
there
a
you go.
massage every week.
All right.
And it has been that way for years, actually. And I look forward to massage. I think that has been really helpful for my healing and recovery, especially after races. I still go to my weights class, actually, although I missed after my Tushers race because I was out of town. But I do still generally go, but just tone it down.
Yeah.
And because I love the foam rolling, I'll still do arms and core because I feel like that is still important. I just lay off the legs.
Yeah,
for a
makes
bit.
sense. So what about like compression boots, ice baths? Do you do any of that?
No. I would love to, actually. I feel like I did sauna for a little bit.
Yeah.
To try to get that kind of adaptation. But no, I haven't. That'd be interesting
you should
try some cold therapy.
Try some cold therapy, or even our Normatec compression boots after some of these longer training sessions that you do.
Yeah.
Just see how that does, see how that feels.
That's a good idea.
We've been trying to put together kind of like a running clinic or a bumps and bruises kind of thing where people can come over and use the boots and different things like that.
Oh, I'd be in.
What about, so another hot topic, I'm just going to bring it in. I'm actually going to talk with someone who deals with peptides. Have you explored or do you know anything about peptides for recovery?
I have heard of them. They've been suggested to me. And that was like my next step.
Yeah.
But then carnivore was so
feet.
successful
Nice.
for me that I actually am like, I think I'm going to see how far I can take this. And then if I feel like I get stuck, then I might try it.
That might be
But
a
yeah,
direction.
I have heard.
Yeah.
They've been helpful.
Okay, we're down to a third pearl, third tip.
Third tip. I'm trying to think about if I feel like I shared it with, there's always low points that you want to quit, and especially with ultras, one DNF scarred me. And in fact, my first DNF, I got swept. I didn't make a cutoff, and I was like, that will never happen to me.
Yeah.
Again. And I went back to that race a couple years later, and I smashed my time. Yeah, it was really nice. But my DNF on 100, my last 100 that I DNF'd on was a couple years ago, but I started to talk myself out of it. I had some big GI issues that race because I had just done the Wonderland Trail 10 days before. And the Wonderland Trail is 100 miles around Mount Rainier.
Okay.
But we didn't do it all at once. We did one day, one leg, and we did it in 4 days. But it was 4 days of trail running, and we filtered our water when we were out there. But I don't know what happened, but I got a bug, and my gut was off for the 10 days, and I thought it had really kind of let up by race day. But of course, racing 100 miles and eating all gels and sugar and whatnot, just amped it up. And my gut, I was in the bushes
oh no,
for hours and hours, just I couldn't get out of the bushes. And I was like, I'm done, I'm quitting. I got to mile 75 and I was like, I've done this race before, and I can't beat my time because my gut is ruined, and so I'm done. And I had all the excuses in the world, but then afterwards it just stung. It was like, I quit.
Yeah.
I paid to suffer.
Yeah.
And when the time came to suffer, I wimped out.
Yeah.
And had all sorts of excuses that I thought were great, but they weren't. And at the time, and I'm just like, it just really regretted that I could have gotten through it. I could have taken an Imodium. I don't know why I didn't even think of that. And I could have just walked it out for just like maybe even, an hour. I could have just walked for an hour, and then maybe things would have just calmed down, and I could have finished still strong. Maybe not beat my old time, but it would have been it would have been a finish. Yeah. And I wouldn't have felt like a quitter. Right. And so it was. I think that you think you're going to be okay with a DNF. Yeah. You will talk yourself into quitting because it's so valid. Yeah. It sucks. It's stupid what you're doing. Why you don't have anything to prove. Yeah. Like, just quit. But actually you won't be okay with it later. Yeah. That's what I always tell my friends that are just doing 100. I was like, you're going to want to quit, and it's going to seem really reasonable. Don't do it. You will regret it. You will hate yourself later. Push through it, because you'll rally. Yeah. And are those the things you think about in your low points now, or do you have a mantra? Like, what would someone do who hasn't had a DNF yet and doesn't want to get one? What might they think about? Because you can think about how bad you felt when you did DNF, but if you haven't yet, what might be some powerful things that people could do to push through? Is it just... I just think of, like, all of my training is a waste if I quit. Right. Like, I paid for this. I trained for this. I have it. Like, I did the training. I did the work. I can finish. So to me, it's like empowering to just remember that, I did the work. Yeah. It's self-reflection on the journey. Yeah, it's there. And it would just feel like a waste if I didn't do it. It's like, what did I do all that training for? Yeah. And everybody's here, and I spent all the money, and it's like having my pacers waiting for me is actually a helpful thing too. Yeah. I have done races, no pacers, no crew. It's kind of like let's see how tough you are. If you can do it without crew and without pacers. Being independent. And they weren't like awesome. And I'm also of the opinion of this has got to also be enjoyable. So it's really more fun when there's people out there with you pacing or at the crew. So we chatted earlier in the show, and you had mentioned these big adventures. Let's talk about these big adventures. Now, you have done like big adventures on 5 continents already out of our 7. You have goals for 2 more. Let's talk about the past ones first. Tell us a little bit about these big adventures. Yeah, actually, that's how I met my running group that I run with now. Is they had found this tour. And they were a bunch of, they were marathon runners. And they all, like, qualified for Boston, fast runners. Okay. That's a tip, actually. Here's a pearl. Here's extra pearl. Run with people who are better than you. There you go. Like, these girls are fast, and I just try all the time to keep up with them. But I kind of brought to the table the longer distance, doing ultras and stuff. And so we just kind of meshed, and so they had signed up for this tour in Peru, and it's the Inca Trail, and most people do the Inca Trail in like 3 or 4 or 5 days. Okay. But this tour was the Inca Trail in 1 day. And so it was like 27 miles, and I mean, you're at elevation, you're going over passes that are 13,000 14,000 feet, and it's just straight up and straight down. And they were looking for one more person to complete their tour. And they were like, hey, we don't really know you, but we heard that you do trail running. Do you want to do this? And I was like, heck yeah. I don't know you, and I don't care. This sounds like the coolest trip ever. This was back in like 2015, 2016. And so I was like, yeah, let's do this. And so while we're there, it was a fantastic trip. And we outran our guides. We chicked them. They like totally dropped, and they're like, we'll meet you at the end. And we were like, okay, cool. And so we were like, we should do adventures like this all the time. Yeah. And so we're like, okay, what could we do next? And so we the next one we decided to do was Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we did Mount Kilimanjaro, and we were like, well, now we're like got 3 continents: North America, South America, and Africa. Let's get them all. So so in Europe, we decided to do the Mont Blanc tour, which is it was like 80 miles through the Swiss Alps. Not the Mont Blanc tour. Sorry, Via Valais tour is what we wanted to do, because Mont Blanc is like the famous one where you kind of go through France and Italy, and so we did the Via Valais tour, and we just ran hut to hut in the Swiss Alps, and so and our luggage got ran around for us. It was a really great experience, and it was like 7 days of just running through the most beautiful Alps of Switzerland.
Snow or no snow?
No snow. No, there was no snow. It was just these high mountain meadows, the cows with the bells. It was like Swiss chalets, you know, and we'd come into town, and the food was amazing. It was just...
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that was one of the tours that we did.
You're like, I don't want to run anymore. I just want to hang out here.
Yeah, really, I do want to go back to that one. But and then our first Asia tour was Mount Manaslu in Nepal. Okay. And that was an 80-mile trek around Mount Manaslu. And Mount Manaslu is not like, I think it's like number 8 tallest mountain in the world, but it's like Everest. It's like the Annapurna trek, but it's like the road less traveled. And so, which is what we like. We're not into being out on the trail with 1 billion people. And so it felt like a very not private tour, but there was so many less people on that, and that was at elevation. We got the Larkila Pass in Nepal is like 15,000 feet, I think 16,000. So that was a good one.
You'll feel that, yeah. So that's all the ones you've done.
Well, I've done Fuji in Japan, and we're actually going to Japan next month. And we're going to do about 60 miles in the northern Alps there, which, you don't think of Japan and you think of Alps, but epic, beautiful mountains. And the Japanese culture, like, they're just so pristine and so well planned, and so their trails are beautiful, and their hut-to-hut system there is like clockwork, and their food, they are just meticulous with their food, and it's so I loved Japan, so I'm going back with friends and doing a week there, and I'll do Fuji again with them.
All right, that sounds fun. So you got Antarctica and Australia, I think you told me.
Yes, Australia's probably the next one if we can stop doing these side things, but Australia is probably, we'll do the Overland Trail in Tasmania. Okay. I've heard that one's a pretty epic one. If I had to choose anything in Australia, that's the one I've zeroed in on. And I don't even know what in Antarctica. I might just tag it. I don't know. But I gotta put my feet.
You gotta put your foot on it.
On Antarctica.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. It was great chatting with you. A lot of good information, some good tips out there as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and please share this so that it can get out to the masses that are interested in endurance and ultra running. So thanks again, Wendy.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you.